You know, we live in what feels like a solid, predictable world. But what if I told you that underneath it all, reality is actually built on a foundation of pure, unpredictable chance? And that discovery forces us to ask a really, really fundamental question, something that almost sounds like a kid would ask. I know, it sounds almost silly, right? How come the quantum? But that deceptively simple question gets right to the heart of a huge cosmic mystery. See, for centuries, we all imagined this clockwork universe, where if you just knew where everything was, you could predict the future perfectly. Well, quantum mechanics came along and just completely smashed that whole idea to pieces. It showed us a universe that, at its most basic level, plays by the rules of probability and chance. And this isn't just some weird little detail, it's a core feature of reality itself, and we're still trying to wrap our heads around it. Okay, so let's get serious for a second. This isn't just some quirky thought experiment. No, this is what some brilliant minds consider the universe's biggest question, because the answer could literally redefine everything we think we know. To put it another way, why is reality itself built out of these tiny, bizarre flickers of existence we call quantum events? I mean, just think about it for a second. Everything, from the fusion happening in the sun all the way down to the neurons firing in your brain right now, it's all just the sum total of these tiny, unpredictable moments. So figuring them out isn't just some niche science project. It's about understanding the very code that reality runs on. So, to really get a handle on this, we've got to look at the weird, kind of two-faced nature of a single quantum event, what it is before it happens and what it turns into after. All right, this is where things get really, really cool. A single quantum event kind of has two different phases. Before it happens, imagine an electron just existing in this cloud of possibilities, right? Physicists call it a superposition. Its outcome is totally, fundamentally unpredictable. It's just pure chance. But, and this is the key part, the instant it gets measured or interacts with something, bam! That whole cloud of uncertainty just collapses. It becomes a solid, concrete piece of information. A brand new fact is born into the universe. So what you really need to get is this. A quantum event is basically the bridge between pure, fuzzy potential and actual, concrete reality. It's the moment the universe picks one outcome out of all the possibilities and locks it in. It's almost like the universe is writing its own story, one tiny little bit of information at a time. Now, this whole idea, this informational nature of reality, it's not just some fun little factoid. It's more like a system-crashing bug in our entire old way of thinking. It tells us that our classical, predictable view of the universe is just wrong. Reality, it seems, needs a total reboot. And look, this is not some fringe idea from the middle of nowhere. It comes from John Archibald Wheeler, one of the absolute giants of 20th century physics. He's the guy who came up with the famous phrase, it from bit, the totally radical idea that every it in the universe, every particle, every force field, it gets its very existence from bits of information. So when a guy like that says quantum mechanics requires a new view of reality, he's telling us the whole game has changed. The old rulebook is officially out of date. Okay, so if these crazy quantum events are telling us we need a whole new view of reality, how in the world do we connect those dots? What's the logical link that takes us from this bizarre quantum behavior to a complete rewrite of everything we thought we knew? This right here is the absolute core of the mystery. I mean, we have the clue, right? This unpredictable quantum event that just seems to create information out of nothing. And we have the conclusion. Reality is not what we think it is. But what's the argument? What's the logical thread that gets us from point A to point B? This is where all the different interpretations of quantum mechanics start fighting with each other. It's a real puzzle. Okay, let's break down the logic here. Step 1. We see that quantum events are totally random before they happen, but they create a new piece of solid information after they happen. Got it? Step 2. We listen to brilliant people like Wheeler, and we accept that this observation demands a whole new framework for reality. But then there's step 3, the big question mark. Why? Why exactly does step 1 force us to accept step 2? What is that missing logical bridge that our regular, everyday brains just can't seem to cross? And all of this, it leads us to the final, and, maybe the most important question of all. I mean, really, think about it. We've spent a whole century proving that our old school picture of a nice, tidy, clockwork universe is wrong. We know that it's different. But the real frontier, the real mystery, is figuring out what this new reality actually is. What does it look like? Is reality basically made of information? Is the universe some kind of giant computer? These are the huge questions that are driving the next big revolution in physics. And so we're left right on the edge of known physics with the ultimate cliffhanger, really. What is this new view of reality that quantum mechanics is practically screaming at us to figure out? And once we do find it, how will the strange informational nature of a quantum event finally make perfect sense? And that's not just a question for physicists in a lab somewhere. That's a question about the fundamental nature of our own existence.